Part 23. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 221. Jang Ki-eun sat in his room, his heart fluctuating. After a while, I heard the door of my father's study downstairs. He quickly picked up a script from his desk, sat on the bay window next to the bed, and read through it with a frown. After a while, there was a knock on the door. "Second young master," came the butler's voice. Jang Ki-eun took a gentle breath and said, "Come in." The housekeeper opened the door and looked at Jang Ki-eun with inquiring eyes. "Are you back?" Jang Ki-eun raised the script in his hand. "Yeah, I just wanted to pick out the new script that Mike sent me. The current scripts are all stuffed with stuff, and I can't even stand it." He had a troubled expression. "It looks natural." The butler breathed a sigh of relief. The second young master is not so thoughtful. He probably didn't hear the conversation between him and the master. "Second young master, have you had enough for lunch? Do you want some snacks?" the butler said respectfully. "No. Don't. I'm so full that I can't eat anything," Jang Ki-eun quickly refused. The housekeeper was a little regretful. "What did you bring that French friend to eat?" "The master said that I will definitely find an opportunity to thank her properly in the future." Jang Ki-eun's thoughts changed. "There is no need for my dad to express my gratitude. I will thank her properly. And, I have already made an appointment with her to have dinner with her tonight." He temporarily decided to meet Laura. He wanted to ask Laura about his mother. "Didn't you already have dinner with her at noon?" The housekeeper was a little surprised. "Why do we have to have dinner together?" "Didn't I just say that I want to thank her properly?" Jang Ki-eun raised his eyebrows. "What, is there a problem?" The butler hesitated for a while and said, "Second young master, there may be distinguished guests coming tonight and your presence is needed. You'd better ask the master for his opinion." Jang Ki-eun's face. It sank instantly. "I'm just coming back for a temporary stay. I can leave when I want and stay when I want. Do I still need my dad's approval to do things or meet people? If I come back to live, I won't even have the freedom to go out to see friends. Then I'll move out immediately." He was holding fire in his heart. The family teamed up to hide it from him. Just when the housekeeper was in a dilemma, Father Jiang's majestic voice sounded from the corridor. "Xiaoun, what are we doing to you? Are you saying that you have no freedom? You won't let me go out? What kind of distinguished guest is coming to your house, and you still have to wait for me?" Jang Ki-eun threw the script aside in dissatisfaction. "Father Jang said, Cheng Ling." Jang Ki-eun almost fell from the bay window. "Ah! Why did Cheng Ling come to our house?" Jiang's father explained, "Because she has made great contributions in the recent major drug trafficking cases uncovered. In order to protect her and her family, public recognition and awards are no longer possible. Therefore, the relevant departments have specifically allowed our family to privately award Cheng Ling with medals and commendations. Later, your brother will go to the Cheng family to invite people." Father Zhang hesitated for a while, but couldn't help but add, "That French friend, you'd better keep your distance." Jang Ki-eun became stubborn. "You always treat me like a child. Who is worthy of dating and who is not worthy of dating, I also have my own judgment. I won't accompany Cheng Ling tonight. She is your guest, not mine." "Guest?" He picked up his coat, picked up his cell phone, and walked around the housekeeper and his father. "I'm going to see my French friend now, who needs to keep a distance." Jang Ki-eun quickly went downstairs. On the one hand, he felt a little embarrassed to meet Cheng Ling, but on the other hand, he really wanted to know more about his mother. Wasn't it all hidden from him? He has his own way of finding out. The housekeeper looked at Father Zhang worriedly. "Master, the second young master." Father Zhang felt like his head was getting big. The wife has lost contact and her condition is unknown. I will also entertain Cheng Ling in the afternoon. Let someone keep an eye on him secretly. Father Zhang sighed deeply. I can't keep an eye on him forever. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 222. Outside the high-speed train window, the scenery is constantly changing. Cheng Xiaomei held old Mrs. Cheng's arm all the way, chattering about the changes in Maple City in the past 20 years. Before she even arrived in Maple City, she drew a lot of big cakes. I know there is a very delicious Chinese restaurant, I will take you to eat there another day. The newly opened Hot Spring Hotel has some ginseng soup and saffron soup, which are good for health. The subway in Maple City is like a spider web, it's convenient to go anywhere. It would be nice if the butler was here. Mr. Cheng thought this more than once. With the housekeeper here, you can let Cheng Mianhu bother the housekeeper and let yourself go. Unfortunately, the housekeeper stayed in Hangzhou to take care of Aaron. After finally arriving at Fengcheng Station, Mr. Cheng couldn't wait to get off the bus. Returning to my hometown after more than 20 years has an unreal feeling. Maple City has changed so much, it is completely different from what I remember. Mr. Cheng was filled with emotions. Once upon a time, he was confused, abandoned his family and career, and went to Hangzhou alone with 20 million in his pocket. Now, more than 20 years later, he has a clear mind and returned to his hometown with 1 billion in his pocket. Things are different and people are different. It's sad. Brother Cheng, who picked him up at the high-speed rail station, had sharp eyes and saw Grandpa from a distance. After waving his arms and shouting a few times, he led his parents and walked quickly towards Grandpa. When Father Cheng saw that his old father was in good spirits, with a rosy complexion, and that he was really not injured, he was relieved of his worries. "Dad, you are finally back." Cheng Beizheng hugged his grandfather. "Grandpa, you have worked hard all the way." "Little sister, are you bothering Grandpa?" Cheng Mianhu said with a smile, "Of course I don't bother Grandpa anymore, don't you think so, Grandpa?" Mr. Cheng nodded speechlessly. His brain was about to explode. This little girl is so eloquent. I bought snacks several times but couldn't stop her mouth. Xiaohu looks much better. It seems that going to the temple to pay homage is very useful. Huh, Mother Cheng glanced behind them and did not see Cheng Ling. Where is Xiaoling? Cheng Xiaomei pursed her lips and smiled, patting an inconspicuous middle-aged woman next to her. "My sister is here." Mother Cheng, Father Cheng, and Brother Cheng widened their eyes. This is a middle-aged woman wearing a loose sun protection coat, with a small belly, dark yellow skin, scattered freckles on her cheeks, small eyes, and short hair. "Who the hell is this?" The woman lowered her voice and said, "Let's get in the car first and then talk." It was Cheng Ling's voice. Cheng Xiaomei explained, "My grandfather didn't want to fly, so we took the high-speed rail. As a result, when my sister showed up in the high-speed rail waiting hall, she was almost torn apart by the enthusiastic fans. My sister ran to the toilet in a panic, and a few minutes later, she appeared in front of us like this. I didn't even dare to recognize her at that time. She was nothing like my sister. I didn't dare to talk to her all this time. In my eyes, she was a complete stranger. Are you divine? This ability to disguise yourself is comparable to that of an agent." Cheng's father, Cheng's mother, and Brother Cheng stared at Cheng Ling. "You can still see traces of me in cross-dressing in TV dramas. But this person in front of me is obviously an extremely ordinary, strange middle-aged aunt. If she hadn't taken the initiative to speak, no one would have recognized her as Cheng Ling. Not even the biological parents could find any trace of Cheng Ling." Cheng Ling lowered his head and urged, "There are too many people here. Let's go home first." Several people got into the extended commercial vehicle together, and Cheng Beizheng drove the car himself. but he didn't start the car and stared at Cheng Ling along with the others. Cheng Ling had no choice but to find a wet tissue, lowered his head and wiped his face, then he raised his hand and took off a headband, which immediately turned into long hair. He took off his sun protection clothes and pulled out the toilet paper inside to disguise his belly. It's like being transformed into a living being. Cheng's mother looked at Cheng Ling seriously. Her eyebrows are more stretched, her eyes are clearer. My daughter, something seems different. Cheng Xiaomei clapped her hands. Wow, sister, that's amazing. Can you go back and teach me? This is very difficult to learn. It took me more than 20 years to learn it before I reached where I am today. Cheng Ling cleared his throat. When she spoke again, her voice changed into a man's voice with a slight Drake voice. Many skills can't be learned by just working hard, it also depends on the individual's talent. Cheng Xiaomei's goosebumps rose. This is more real than the voice produced by a voice changer. Cheng's father and Cheng's mother keenly caught the contradiction in Cheng Ling's words. 20 years? She is only 21 years old this year, where did she get more than 20 years? The two exchanged confused glances. What happened on the mountain? Old man Cheng knew in his heart, Cheng Ling was going to confess to his family. Asterisk. Telephone communication is inconvenient, and high-speed rail stations are crowded. It wasn't until he entered the house that Father Cheng grabbed his old father's hand and asked, Dad, are you really not injured? What happened last night? Why did you drive all the bodyguards down the mountain when you were so good? Fortunately, Aaron is here, I am scared just thinking about it. Also, why did you suddenly decide came back? Mr. Cheng didn't say anything. He looked at Cheng Ling. Cheng Ling said calmly, this is all because of me. Brother, please let the servants go back to the backyard to rest. I have something very important to tell everyone. After Cheng Beizheng settled the servants and returned to the living room, the whole family was seated. Everyone stared at Cheng Ling. Cheng Ling said, I am not only your family member, but also the former captain of the H Rangers. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 223. Rangers. What is Rangers? Cheng Xiaomei blinked her watery eyes, is it the name of your new girl group? I don't think so, Cheng's mother shook her head, hey, Xiaoling, is it the 1, 2, 3 wooden figures are not allowed to move game you played when you were a child? Do you form a team just to play a game? Only the 3 men of the Cheng family remained silent. Mr. Cheng had an icy expression. Father Cheng's expression was, oh my god. When did my daughter join such a dangerous organization? His expression was solemn. Brother Cheng, holy shit. My sister is so awesome, excited. Cheng Ling organized the language a little bit. Einsatzgruppen, High Einsatzgruppen, translated in Chinese is, High-Level Special Operations Team. In European and American countries, the government allows large chaebols and families to raise their own teams of agents for them to drive. However, these teams of agents must abide by the agreement. If the government encounters a task that is difficult to complete, it must call on the private agents of the chaebols. Do not accept any form of excuse. And the H Rangers I belong to the Joyce family in the United States. Since I was a baby, I was adopted by Amos Joyce, the head of the Joyce family. I lived in a special school with hundreds of elite children from all over the world, and had to undergo extreme training every day. Rigorous all-around training. The school will conduct assessments twice a year, and those who fail will be eliminated. When I was 15 years old, I won the school's ultimate training competition with excellent results and was honored to become a member of the H Rangers. Because of my outstanding performance, I was selected as the vice captain. After my captain died, I took over his position and became the captain. From the time I joined the H Rangers to the time I left, it was a total of 13 years, a total of 4,962 days. A total of 302 large and small tasks were completed. I have been to 183 countries and regions and am proficient in 8 major languages: English, Chinese, Spanish, French, German, Russian, Portuguese and Turkish, as well as some minor languages. I won't mention them one by one. I can fly planes, tanks, and submarines, and my computer skills are pretty good. I've changed satellite programs, and hacked into the internal networks of cults and violent armed forces. I can defuse bombs, I can draw, and I have LE Cordon Bleu. LE Cordon Bleu, special LE Cordon Bleu medal, because my cooking skills surpassed most of the teachers in the school. In addition, I have studied acting, piano, violin and guhan, and I am pretty good at dancing and singing. By the way, I also wrote a few decent novels on the Cherry Tomato website under the pseudonym Shadow Song. I didn't have much money left, and most of it was used to buy Cheng Deheng stocks. The Swiss businessman who invested anonymously was actually me. Well, this is my skill worth mentioning. It can be regarded as my positive information. Cheng Ling's tone was calm, as if he was talking about someone else's affairs. Cheng's parents, brother, and sister's mouths opened wider and wider. They were so shocked that their brains processed information slowly. Even though Mr. Cheng was mentally prepared, his heart beat faster with Cheng Ling's understatement. Cheng Ling thought for a while and felt that there was nothing else worth saying, so she changed her tone. Next, I'm going to say my negative message. I have killed people. Many, many people. In the past 10 years, incomplete statistics, it should be more than 1,600 people. I have deceived you. Cheng Ling's tone was dry. From the time I drowned to yesterday, I didn't lose my memory. I thought I was traveling through time. I pretended to be your family. She didn't dare to look up at her family's expressions and explained calmly. For many reasons, my soul was divided into 3 parts. The part that was separated first was the special engineer I just mentioned who lived in the United States for 28 years. Part of it is your daughter Cheng Ling who lives beside you. The last part, not much in number, resides in Cheng Mianhu's body. This is why she has always been in poor physical condition, is more easily lethargic than ordinary people, and has fainted frequently recently. Cheng Mianhu's eyes widened. Cheng Ling's voice became softer. However, I don't have to worry about this problem in the future. That part has left her body. As far as I know, it will not cause any harm to her. Upon hearing this, Cheng Mianhu grabbed Cheng Ling's arm. Sister, why did you leave my body? Then you are not complete? It doesn't matter to me. I am very young. I will start eating well from today on, exercise hard, strive to live a long life, and work hard to help you keep your soul. Cheng Ling raised his head and looked at his little sister with extremely gentle eyes. Cheng Mianhu was so anxious that he spoke incoherently. Sister, are you leaving? Can you not leave? Cheng Ling looked at her hand tightly grasping his arm and asked in a low voice, aren't you afraid of me? I have killed many, many people. Sister, please, you are my sister. Why should I be afraid of you? I don't know what kind of agent you are or what. I can be sure that no matter before or now, you are my sister, and you have never changed. Cheng Xiaomei continued seriously, besides, there are so many hummed up and damned people in this world. You kill them to get rid of harm to the people. I don't have that ability. If I did, I would have grabbed the butcher knife and killed everyone. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 224. Mother Cheng glared at Cheng Xiaomei, watch your language. Don't say dirty words. The little sister just said Is this considered a dirty word? Chen-Ling paused for a moment, and said to her mother with difficulty, my level of dirty words is above level 10. I can curse people 300 times without repeating myself. Brother Cheng was excited, so good, can you teach me? I always lose when I quarrel with others, I often sit up at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, damn. This is how I should fight back. Father Cheng frowned, what's wrong with you? Didn't those people in the public relations department teach you? A real man can lose a quarrel. A warm current surged in Cheng Ling's heart. They are using this kind of joke to relax themselves. Old Master Cheng cleared his throat and brought the topic back on track. So, have you recovered your memory now? Yes, I have recovered the memory before drowning. It should be said that both of me are incomplete. I am good at swimming, and I am full of emotions. The other side of me is completely missing, and the other side is good at very little. Father Cheng hesitated for a while, but still asked carefully, then, do you have a father and a mother? Chen Ling shook her head, no, I am an orphan abandoned in an orphanage. Father Cheng breathed a sigh of relief. No one is competing with me for my daughter. Chen Ling said again, then I was adopted by Amos Joyce, I call him Godfather. Father Cheng's heart was lifted again. Shit. She has an extra father. It was him who killed me, Chen Ling said, my soul was able to return. Father Cheng. Him. I'll kill you. Cheng Bashan on the side stood up directly. His name is Amos Joyce, right? Right? How dare you touch my Chen Ling? Chen Ling grabbed Brother Cheng's clothes and asked him to sit down. Next, it's the point I want to talk about. I originally thought about leaving you, because I decided to get rid of Amos. This is a life or death mission, I'm afraid I'll implicate you. My last mission gave Amos a great merit, and he became the governor of California. It's not easy to get rid of him. Especially now, I don't have enough manpower, material resources, and financial resources. When old Master Cheng heard this, he picked up his handmade leather bag from the ground and unzipped it. A large pile of property certificates, including commercial housing, residential housing, office buildings, and street shops. One by one, they were stacked up. Then he pulled the inner drawstring and took out a large pile of certificates of ownership, such as those of the team, gold mines, iron mines, coal mines, and jewelry companies. Like a small mountain. Old Master Cheng pushed these things in front of Chen Ling. The conservative estimate of the market value of these is 1 billion. Take them and play with them. When Father Cheng heard this, he stood up and was about to go to the study to move the property certificate. He was stopped by Chen Ling. Dad, it's okay, it's my own problem, I want to solve it myself. Mother Cheng crossed her legs, what's this and that? I know that you crawled out of my belly, and your business is my business. What's the matter, you are so glorious now, don't want your mother to benefit from it. Are you in a hurry to cut off your relationship with us? Chen Ling hurriedly said, it's not about cutting off your relationship. Brother Cheng said, what's the matter? Do you think that this part of the money still has a share for me and my younger sister? I'm saying now that I don't want my share, I can earn it myself. You take it and do whatever you want. Little sister Cheng also said, I don't want it either. Anyway, I will be homeless in the future, and you have to take care of me, right? I don't ask for much, just 3 meals a day and don't starve to death. 3 meals a day? Did Chen Ling do it? Then prepare an extra pair of chopsticks, I'll eat a few bites too, Brother Cheng added. Chen Ling didn't know what to say for a moment. Don't you ask me why I want to kill him. Didn't he kill you? The Cheng family said in unison. Bah. Crow mouth. Bah. It's you in the past, you over there. said Father Cheng. Cheng Ling bit her lip. I actually wanted to let go of hatred and live a good life. But I found that my last mission, helping him to get rid of the big drug lord, was like helping the evil. He took over the drug lord's drug business and expanded the scale. In other words, she helped promote this matter. Cheng Boshan's mind turned quickly. The drugs you mentioned, wouldn't it just happen to be related to Xian man who made you drown, and the drug dealers in Wild Boar Forest? Cheng Ling gave a thumbs up. Then she picked out the key points of the recent events related to drug dealers and told the whole story. The family was fascinated by the story, sometimes clapping and laughing, sometimes gasping for air. After listening to Cheng Ling's story, Old Master Cheng asked, "Xiao Ling, are the Zhang family members suspicious of your identity? Why did they apply for you to be a special employee of a special department?" Cheng Ling pondered. "I can't say, but what I can be sure of is that the Zhang family is sincerely working for the people. They are not a threat to me at present. Even if her identity is exposed, what can the Zhang family do to her?" At this time, the smart doorbell of the gate rang. Brother Cheng was closer to the visual doorbell and stood up to take a look. "Speak of the devil, and the devil will appear. Zhang Qilan is here. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment." Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 225. Cheng Ling looked at Zhang Qilan's face on the electronic screen and felt dazed. She felt that she was not mentally prepared to see him. "Brother Lan, it's been a long time since we last met." "Xiao Ling, if you don't want to see him, I'll find a way to get rid of him," Old Master Cheng said. "No," Cheng Ling felt a little complicated. She pursed her lips. "It doesn't matter. I'll go see him. He once made a promise to her. He promised that on the day the war ended, he would spread a 10-mile red dress and marry her home. He taught her to read, recognize words, use weapons, and learn strategies." From the living room to the courtyard door, Cheng Ling felt like she had walked for more than 800 years in just a dozen steps. She finally stood in front of him and looked at him seriously for the first time in modern times. "Brother Lan has changed a lot. Brother Lan in my memory is darker, thinner, and more smiling. General Lan, who frightened countless enemy soldiers, would smile and reveal 2 rows of white teeth as long as he saw her. Then he secretly took out a bag of sticky candies from his clothes, stuffed them into his pockets, and rubbed his head lovingly. A gossipy woman said, 'Girl Ling rides horses and plays with swords all day long. She can't do needlework or cook. How can she serve your husband in the future?' Her cheeks were puffed with anger. Brother Lan would pull her over and say coldly, 'Girl Ling, you don't need to do needlework or cook, because these jobs are mine. Unlike you, poor aunt, your husband throws these jobs to you.' Originally thought he was just fighting for her, but he didn't expect Brother Lan to do what he said. He was very good at sewing, and his cooking was delicious. She felt a little sorry for herself. While mending the worn clothes, he said, 'Cooking and sewing are common things. I can do it, why do I have to ask you to do it? I need someone to study with me late at night, someone to analyze the battle situation with me, someone to practice sword skills with me, and someone to scold the treacherous ministers in the court together. Even if I have to eat coarse food and wear tattered clothes, I will feel comfortable.' Then, the war started. Brother Lan has been fighting outside for many years. She practiced swordsmanship and read military books every day in her hometown, and saved many battles of victory by surprise, waiting for Brother Lan to come back to discuss. She even learned how to cook. When Brother Lan comes back, I will show him my skills, and he will definitely be shocked," she thought happily. However, a celebration banquet after a victory shattered everything. After the merits were rewarded, the civil officials in the palace jumped out to sing the opposite tune. The civil officials said, the world has suffered from war for a long time. General Ian's conquest is probably to show off his power, which is not good for the country. The Mongolian monarch sent a letter to plead that if we retreat 50 miles to the south, they will never offend our country again and offer 10,000 cattle and sheep every year. General Lan refuted, Mongolia has always been insidious and cunning, and has no credibility at all. Go and see the lost territory, where the people have suffered from their burning, killing, rape and looting. Now they have finally built a defense line, guarding a rolling mountain range, like a natural barrier, and the Mongolian cavalry cannot rush through. Retreating 50 miles is like opening your own door. How can the people living in these 50 miles protect themselves when facing the iron hoof? The civil official argued, war is always deadly. The world belongs to the monarch, and the monarch has the final say, not you, General Lan. You are wasting money and manpower by fighting like this. Why are you so anxious to gain a good reputation? The incompetent monarch was actually persuaded by the civil official. Mongolia spread rumors in the country that General Lan wanted to rebel and seize the country. And General Lan was indeed extraordinary. He was 8 feet tall, with sword eyebrows and star eyes, majestic and handsome like a god. Just standing in the hall, he was better than all the civil and military officials in the court. Not to mention the incompetent monarch, who has been addicted to wine and sex for many years, and has been in a daze and neglected to take care of himself. The whole person is limp. How can he be compared with General Lan? The monarch was scared. They caught General Lan with an extreme remark and accused him of disrespecting the monarch and the civil officials and dragged him out that day. He was torn into pieces by 5 horses. Such a proud man was tied up by 5 horses without any dignity and torn into 5 pieces. His body was taken away by wild dogs, and only a cenotaph was left. Then, the tyrant retreated 50 miles. The Mongolian soldiers marched south. The war reached her hometown. She wiped away her tears and picked up the sword. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 226. Miss Cheng. John Killen's cold voice brought back Cheng Ling's thoughts. Now Brother Lan has refreshing short hair, a black t-shirt, and casual trousers, and his figure is as tall and straight as green pines and green bamboos. His usually stern face showed concern as subtle as light smoke. It's different. It's different from what I remember. He doesn't remember himself. The bright and hearty smile that once belonged to me no longer exists. Cheng Ling lowered his eyelids, stared at his toes and asked, Chief Zhang, why did you come to my house? John Killen looked at the top of her head and felt that her mood had dropped for some reason. He cleared his throat and said loudly, Ms. Cheng, in view of your outstanding contributions to the country, including but not limited to fighting crime, donating, promoting the tourism economy for Xiaxi, and other positive impacts, we have been specially commissioned by the superiors to award you an honorary citizen certificates of bravery and bravery. For reasons of confidentiality and security, I would like to ask you to go to Jiang's house in Maple City to receive the corresponding medal certificate and take photos for your files. John Killen explained the purpose of his visit and said in a sincere tone, the mission sent by the superior is urgent. I hope that Miss Cheng can come to my house as soon as possible so that I can deliver the mission to the superior. I wonder if it is convenient for you now. It won't take you too long. John Killen felt a little nervous. Cheng Ling would most likely not be willing to go. She is so smart, I'm afraid they guessed that they wanted to get some information from her during this appointment. If she refuses to go, then he can only use his trump card, Laura. Although he made up his mind to tell Cheng Ling about Laura's existence. But not in this coercive way. To John Killen's expectation, Cheng Ling raised his head, glanced at him quickly, and replied simply, "Okay." I don't know if it was his illusion, but I always felt that this glance contained a lot of complex emotions. Also, Cheng Ling today seems to be different from before. But after careful investigation, he didn't find anything different. She didn't wear any makeup either, but her eyebrows were much more vivid. Just listen to Cheng Ling continue to say, "It's just that Chief Zhang should know that I just came back from Hangzhou and not long after I got home. I'm afraid it's rude to go get the certificate like this. I want to go home and take a simple shower and change clothes. I don't know. Is there enough time?" "Of course it's enough," John Killen said apologetically, "it's because we didn't notify you in advance." Cheng Ling was non-committal. He turned sideways and extended his arms to invite him, "Come and wait in the room." John Killen bowed slightly and said, "Then I'll excuse you." John Killen followed Cheng Ling, and the two of them walked along the front garden to the villa building. Just when Cheng Ling and John Killen turned around and walked towards the house, a row of heads beside the first floor window disappeared. Opening the door, I saw the Cheng family, young and old, sitting upright on the sofa in the living room, like primary school students in class. Trying to prove that they weren't just peeping out of the window. John Killen raised the corner of his mouth slightly and bowed slightly, "Good afternoon, everyone. I'm sorry to bother you without an appointment." Cheng Xiaomei pinched Cheng's mother, and Cheng's mother pinched Cheng Xiaomei. "What a polite and handsome guy." Cheng Ling gave a brief introduction to both parties. "This is Chief Zhang Killen. I'm going out with him to do something." "Chief Zhang, this is my grandfather. I won't introduce the others. You should all know them." John Killen bowed to old Master Cheng. "Hello, Grandpa Cheng." Mr. Cheng's eyes passed over his eyebrows, face, waist, and posture. A person's inner self can be reflected in his appearance and body posture. Mr. Cheng gave his judgment, "This is a rare good man. Chief Zhang, there is no need to be so polite. Come on, come and sit." Mr. Cheng patted the vacant sofa next to him. John Killen glanced at Cheng Ling, who looked at him with no expression. She first looked away. "Well, please wait a moment, Chief Zhang. Parents, please entertain Chief Zhang. I'll take a shower and change clothes and I'll come down soon." After saying that, she turned and went upstairs. John Killen sat next to Mr. Cheng, while the others sat in a circle around him and looked at him with unabashed eyes. The living room fell into an eerie silence. John Killen did not show any discomfort at all. He sat in a relaxed posture and calmly accepted the attention of the Cheng family. Cheng's father was the first to think about it and slapped brother Cheng, "Go and get some drinks for Chief Zhang." "What would you like to drink, Chief Zhang?" "Anything will do. If there is ice mineral water, that would be great," John Killen said generously. Cheng Beizheng sprinted 100 meters and took a bottle of mineral water from the freezer next door and handed it over. "Thank you." John Killen took it, unscrewed the bottle cap, and took 2 sips. Cheng's mother and Cheng Xiaomei immediately pinched each other hard. When you unscrew the bottle cap, the muscles on your arms involuntarily bulge. When you tilt your head to drink water, your smooth jawline is revealed. When you swallow the water, your long eyelashes flutter gently like crow feathers. "Ah! This man is so handsome." Mr. Cheng became more and more satisfied as he watched, and asked, "I wonder if Chief Zhang is married." Even though John Killen had a strong heart, he almost choked on the water. The soul travels through the 18th line. The female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Bulletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 227. John Killen took a deep breath and swallowed the water that was about to spray out. He coughed twice and put the water bottle down. For his own dignity, he should not drink the water for the time being. This family has the same ability as Cheng Ling to shock people with their words. But old Master Cheng did not intend to let him go. He stared at him with his eyes, waiting for his answer. He had to say, I am not married at the moment. Cheng Xiaomei couldn't help but ask, what about your girlfriend? Do you have a girlfriend now? John Killen. Can you ask about such private matters casually? But everyone in the room didn't think Cheng Xiaomei's question was inappropriate. They stared at him with sharp eyes. John Killen said with a little embarrassment, ah. Not at the moment. He looked up at the stairs. If I had known, I would have waited outside. How long will it take Cheng Ling to come down? Cheng's father leaned forward, what are your hobbies? Do you smoke or drink? Cheng's mother asked, what's your blood type? What's your zodiac sign? You have such good hair quality and a lot of hair, which is rare. Does your family have the gene for hair loss? Cheng's elder brother, how many girlfriends have you had? In addition, what kind of girls do you like? Cheng's younger sister, how much is your annual income? In what digits? John Killen. He was also worried about inviting Cheng Ling to his home. If his father asked inappropriate questions, it might offend Cheng Ling. Never expected that he would be interrogated by Cheng Ling's family first. And these questions are more difficult than the other. Is this how the Cheng family always entertains guests? What on earth did the Cheng group rely on to rise in the financial world? Thinking back then, when I was on a mission and was pressed under a collapsed house for 3 days and 3 nights, I couldn't move and could only survive by drinking dirty muddy water, it was not as tormenting as it is now. John Killen's previous calmness could no longer be maintained. Just when John Killen was in a dilemma, old Master Cheng spoke again. Listen for yourself, what questions were asked? His tone was reprimanding. The Cheng family members looked ashamed. John Killen breathed a sigh of relief. Old Master Cheng continued, Commander Zhang. John Killen looked up at Old Master Cheng gratefully, What do you think of my Xiaoling? Do you like her? To what extent do you like her? John Killen, Father Cheng, Mother Cheng, Brother Cheng, and Sister Cheng all gave a thumbs up. Ginger, the older you are, the spicier you are. This question is really a good one. Steady, accurate, ruthless, and straight to the core. Everyone waited for John Killen's answer. Just when John Killen couldn't stand the pressure and was about to flee, footsteps sounded on the stairs. Cheng Ling changed into a clean and refreshing sleeveless dark green dress, with her long hair blown dry and hanging down the stairs. Sorry for the wait. Cheng Ling's eyes swept over everyone's face in the room. Everyone had different expressions. The family members looked excited or curious, but John Killen. Why did he look like he was going to run for his life? What are you talking about? Cheng Ling asked curiously, Captain Zhang, is there anything my family hasn't done to entertain you? John Killen stood up from the sofa and walked to the stairs. His speed was so fast that it was amazing. He was indeed trained. No, just some family matters. John Killen tried to curl his lips. Miss Cheng is very fast. Fortunately, she was fast enough to wash and change clothes, he thought with lingering fear. When Cheng Ling saw John Killen's reaction, he could guess what he had just experienced by using the nail of his right little toe. It was inexplicably funny, and inexplicably sad. Cheng Ling said, Grandpa, Mom, and Dad, big brother and little sister, then I'm leaving. The Cheng family felt a little regretful for missing John Killen's answer. Tisk, I can only find another opportunity to interrogate him. Cheng's mother waved her hand, okay, go ahead, don't rush back in the evening, and have dinner with Commander Zhang if you can't. Cheng's father added, Commander Zhang, then my daughter's dinner will be troublesome to you. My daughter is not picky about food, and the spicy hot pot on the street can do it. John Killen, although I don't have much money in my pocket, I can't only afford spicy hot pot. Cheng Ling was speechless, raised her hand to pull John Killen's collar, pushed the door and pulled him out. John Killen didn't forget to say goodbye politely, Uncle and aunt. Everyone is busy, I'm leaving first. Chen Ling didn't let go until she walked to the garden. John Killen glanced at the corner of his clothes that she had pulled, and the corner of his clothes was a little wrinkled. Then I heard Chen Ling say, "Chief Zhang, don't be surprised, my family is just like this, not very tactful." John Killen's tone was flat. "Does your family always treat guests like this?" "That's not the case." Chen Ling blushed slightly, and to hide her embarrassment, she raised her hand and stroked her hair. "Anyway, I apologize to you for my family's rudeness." "It's okay, I can understand. I just didn't expect Miss Cheng's family to be so concerned about Miss Cheng's future." John Killen's mood improved. She said, "That's not the case. It means that other people have not been asked this question, right? He is the first one, he is special. Isn't it right for him to understand this?" The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 228. John Killen still drove his little black car. Chen Ling opened the door and sat in the passenger seat. After John Killen fastened his seat belt, he hesitated for a while before speaking. "Miss Chen, you." Chen Ling interrupted him, "Just call me Chen Ling." John Killen changed his words from his good demeanor. "Chen Ling, what do you want to have for dinner? I'll make a reservation at a restaurant right now, and I hope I can get a private room. After all, you are so famous now, and I don't dare to risk letting you go to public places. Don't worry about what my family said about inviting guests to dinner. They just said it casually. No need to bother Chief Zhang." John Killen also learned the lesson and interrupted Chen Ling, "Call me Killen, or you can call me Brother Lan. People who are close to me call me that in private. Brother Lan." A plain call came to John Killen's ears, as if an electric shock had passed through him, and half of his body was numb. "Well," he raised his hand and rubbed his right ear, "even if your family doesn't ask, I personally would like to treat you to dinner. I hope you won't refuse." Chen Ling pursed her lips, hesitated for a moment and said, "Then let's eat at your house. No need to be extravagant, just home-cooked food." "Really?" "Really?" Chen Ling nodded. "Then wait a moment and I'll call home." John Killen couldn't wait to take out his phone, as if he was afraid that Chen Ling would change his mind if he was too late. Before making the call, he pointed to the glove box in front of the passenger seat. "Are you hungry? There is some food here." Chen Ling opened the glove box, which contained various snacks, dried fruit bags, preserved meat, finger biscuits. A slight smile appeared on Chen Ling's lips. This man obviously forgot everything, but just like before, he always prepared food for himself. She took out a package of dried fruits, tore open the package, pinched a piece of almond, put it in her mouth, and chewed it slowly. Then I heard John Killen answer the phone. "Well, I have already received the call from Miss Chen. She is going to have dinner at our house tonight. There is no need to order food outside, just let the kitchen do it, taboo. Please wait a moment." John Killen held the phone and asked Chen Ling, "What are your preferences and taboos? Did you have a fever yesterday? Is there anything special you should pay attention to?" There was food in Chen Ling's mouth. She covered her mouth with her hand and said, "I don't have any taboos." She said she has no taboos. "Well, you ask Chef Wang to prepare more meat. She seems to like eating meat." Huh. Where did he go?" "Well, okay." John Killen hung up the phone. Chen Ling looked at him. John Killen took a breath. "John Kyun is not at home when he goes out. He said he had made an appointment with his friends and asked us to entertain you." Chen Ling breathed a sigh of relief. "Okay. Why do you have a fever? I think you look pretty good." John Killen said, raising his hand and gently touching her forehead with the back of his hand, "You don't have a fever anymore." Chen Ling felt a little stiff. Maybe he is acclimatized. Killen withdrew his hand. Then let's set off. He started the car. I don't know if it was because of the Cheng family's questioning of him, but he always felt that the atmosphere between him and Chen Ling was a bit awkward. The two of them didn't speak again. In Maple City in the evening, there is a lot of traffic, and you have to wait for more than 10 minutes to cross an intersection. The street lights on both sides of the road were on. The residential buildings on both sides of the street also gradually turned on their lights. Students were in groups, holding grilled sausages and milk tea, chatting and laughing. Couples hold hands and laugh while choosing a restaurant for dinner. The old man pulled the dog on the leash and took a leisurely walk. The mother and father held the child between them, laughing and talking about anecdotes about the kindergarten. This is the peaceful country and people's peace that she and Brother Lan once dreamed of. Chen Ling felt very peaceful in her heart. She looked at the busy traffic outside the window and ate 2 packages of dried fruits, 1 package of pork jerky, and a few beef sticks in silence. Another red light. Killen couldn't help but remind him, "Are you hungry? It's better to eat less, don't be unable to eat later. My chef's skills are quite good, I may not be able to compete with you." Chen Ling swallowed the dried meat in his mouth and said, "Brother Lan, thank you." "Thank me for nothing, I haven't done anything to help you." Chen Ling smiled lightly. "Special personnel from the special department, can they be approved in such a short time?" "Brother Lan, I'm not stupid." Killen turned his head and looked at her. "It's nothing, as long as you're fine." Chen Ling balled up the wrapping paper. "If you need me in the future, just ask. I won't shirk anything I can do. Don't think about giving me any benefits. There are some things that I can't explain to you for the time being, but I hope you can understand one thing. My hope for people to be safe and happy is the same as yours." Killen tightened his grip on the steering wheel. "Chen Ling, I have something to tell you," he said. "You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment." The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 229. Chen Ling looked at him steadily. There was no evasion, no confusion, no panic. So calm. A whistle sounded from behind, and the light turned green. Killen turned around and started the car. "I'll tell you when I take you home tonight." Why should she feel uneasy even when eating? Chen Ling stared at his profile, and he rarely showed a tangled expression on his face. She looked away. "Okay." The car finally arrived at Jiang's house. There was a guard at the door of the house, who opened the iron gate and parked the car in the parking space in the front yard. The guard closed the iron gate and walked up to open the door for Chen Ling. "Thank you." Chen Ling got out of the car holding her long skirt. Killen got out of the cab, and the guard saluted. Chen Ling took a quick look. The main body of Jiang's house is a 3-story building with a large yard. It is completely different from the style of her own garden. At first glance, it is clear that the Jiang family is too masculine and lacks the gentle care of women. There are pine and cypress trees in the yard, a large area of bamboo on the east wall, a simple stone pavilion, stone tables, and stone benches. There is a flower bed outside the pavilion, with a lot of chrysanthemums planted in it. They are just forming buds. "Chen Ling, please come this way." Killen led the way in front. "My house is relatively simple, and the house has not been repaired for many years." Killen has never felt that there is any distinction between high and low houses. But today he went to Chen Ling's house and found that Chen Ling's house was really exquisite down to every brick seam. Looking at his own humble room at this moment, he felt a little embarrassed. "No, I think it is very imposing," Chen Ling said, "the kind of righteousness that ghosts and monsters have to go around. I personally like it." Chen Ling is a person who wants to be venomous, and the other party wants to commit suicide to avoid further insults from her. But if she is considerate, every word can touch the other party's itch. Jong Killen's mouth corners rose slightly uncontrollably. After passing the stone pavilion, it is the main entrance of Jiang's house. Zhang Zhenkuo, the father of Zhang, and his housekeeper personally stood at the door to greet them. Jiang's father stood on the top of the steps with a smile on his face, watching Chen Ling holding the hem of her long skirt and climbing up the steps. Seeing is believing. This girl is more energetic than in the camera, calm but not introverted, peaceful but not losing her grandeur, not at all flustered, and walking calmly. Just because someone is waiting for her, her pace has accelerated a lot. Zhang Killen walked side by side with Chen Ling, and finally the two stood in front of Jiang's father. Chen Ling, this is my father, Zhang Zhenkuo. Dad, this is Miss Chen Ling, Chen Zhang Killen introduced. Zhang Zhenkuo smiled and extended his hand. Miss Chen, nice to meet you, nice to meet you. Chen Ling shook his hand. Hello, Chief Zhang. It is a great honor for me to be greeted in person. Father Zhang laughed loudly. Miss Chen is too modest. If there were no regulations, I would have gone to the yard to greet you. Please come in. Chen Ling followed Jiang's father and walked into the Zhang residence. The decoration and furnishings inside the house often better reflect the temperament of a family. The interior of the Zhang residence is even more simple and majestic. There are no porcelain or flowers in the house, and the few decorative paintings are all ink landscape paintings. There are quite a few large and small bookshelves, and the spines of many books are damaged. It can be seen that they have been flipped through many times, not the furnishings of some people pretending to be cultured. The reception room is on the second floor. There is an oval long wooden table with 6 chairs. There were bookshelves filled to the ceiling, wooden wall clocks, and a rather large ink painting of raging water on the other wall. The sea water crashed against the steep rocks, and a solemn atmosphere came towards them. A good painting, Chen Ling couldn't help but admire it. Then he looked at the signature, Zhang Zhenkuo. Father Zhang smiled generously. Thank you Miss Cheng for your compliment. Dad, Chen Ling, let's sit down and talk. Zhang Killen walked to the main seat of the oval table and pulled out a chair for his father. While his father was sitting down, he quickly wrote on his father's back with his finger, "Don't ask." Father Zhang didn't reveal any clues on his face, and his tone didn't pause at all. Killen, please Miss Chen take a seat. Chen Ling sat on the right side of Father Zhang, and Zhang Killen sat on the left side. The housekeeper brought teacups and teapots and poured tea in order. As a routine, Father Zhang praised Chen Ling for her bravery and fearlessness. He said that she not only protected the lives and safety of the people, but also helped them solve such a big drug trafficking case. It is a blessing for China to have such citizens. Chen Ling did not pretend to be polite and modest. She respectfully accepted Jiang's father's affirmation of her and said a few polite words. After the words of praise and encouragement were finished, Jiang's father turned to Zhang Killen and said, "Killen, go get the medal certificate and take a photo of Miss Cheng for the record." Chen Ling stood up, and Zhang Killen brought a small brocade box with 2 red honorary certificates below. Chen Ling took the certificate with both hands. Zhang Killen opened the box and took out the medal. According to convention, he had to wear the medal for the person who received the Medal of Honor. Chen Ling, I'll wear the medal for you, Zhang Killen reminded. Thank you, Chief Zhang. Chen Ling stood up straight. He took the medal and walked closer. Zhang Killen lowered his head and gently pinched the thin fabric near Chen Ling's collarbone with his fingers, poking the golden pin on the medal through the clothes and then out from the other side. He was extremely careful not to let his fingers touch her body, nor let the pin rub against her skin. She stood in front of him defenselessly. She was wearing a dark green long dress. This skirt suits her very well and can bring out her temperament. He thought. She has a faint scent of water lilies on her body. The breath from her nose gently sprays on the back of his hand. John Killen's palms are sweating, which is rare. Finally, he puts the pin into the buckle of the medal. Finally put it on. John Killen took a step back and breathed a sigh of relief. Such a simple thing, but he felt as if he had just dismantled a super bomb. The soul travels through the 18th line, the female agent is killing crazy in the entertainment. Author, Buletin Yehoyun Li. Chapter 230. Chen Ling wore a medal and held 2 certificates on his chest, standing in the middle of the raging sea landscape painting. John Killen pressed the photo button. Half body shot, full body shot. Looking at Chen Ling in the viewfinder, everything else in this world ceases to exist. Only her. Chen Ling stood quietly in front of the painting, keeping a calm smile on his face. It was as if he had been thrown into a vacuum. Cannot breathe. Can't look away. Can't even think. Zhang Zhenkuo noticed his son's abnormality and coughed lightly. Killen, go save the photo. Zhang Killen looked away from the viewfinder. The whole world just started functioning again. Zhang Killen retreated to the wall with the camera, pretending to check the photos, secretly taking a few deep breaths, and finally managed to adjust his heart rate. The butler stepped forward and handed over the small suitcase he had prepared. Ms. Chang, your certificate and medal box can be put into the box, and I can keep them for you temporarily, the housekeeper said. Chen Ling took the box and said, thank you. She put the 2 certificates in, looked at the medal and hesitated for a moment, but instead of taking it off, she put the empty box into the box. Jiang's father asked Chen Ling to sit down again. The formal part was over, and the rest was just family chatter. Don't ask. Although he didn't know why his son Killen made him give up asking Chen Ling in words, he and his son had a tacit understanding between father and son. Maybe Qilan discovered something, or Chen Ling noticed something. Jiang's father believed in his son's judgment. If he asked at this time, he might not get any answer. Jiang's father really started to care for his elders and started chatting. Your parents are usually very busy, right? I heard that your family does a good job in the food department. Many kindergartens and primary schools designate your family's food as recess time. Snacks. Chen Ling nodded slightly. Thank you, Chief, for your affirmation. This is not a formal occasion, so just call me Uncle. Father Zhang smiled heartily. Okay, Uncle. Dad, Chen Ling, I'm going to put the camera away and see how the food is being prepared in the kitchen. Zhang Killen raised the camera in his hand. You guys have a good chat. Okay, let's go, Father Zhang said. Chen Ling waited. Waiting for the temptation from Father Zhang. For example, why is she so skilled? Why was she able to uncover information about drug dealers so quickly? Do you really not know Ji Chenjiao? However, Jiang's father didn't ask a word. After asking about the situation of the family business, he asked Cheng Xiaomei how her high school life was, whether she was under a lot of pressure, and whether Chen Ling was tired from filming, and other life-related questions that did not involve privacy. Chen Ling prepared a lot of words to deal with, but none of them were useful. Father Zhang sighed. You 3 children from the Cheng family are all very good, unlike the 2 of my family, none of them are considerate. Especially the kid Kyun, he is too ignorant. Fortunately, Miss Cheng takes care of him. Chen Ling stood up and bowed to Father Zhang. I have never formally apologized to you. Zhang Kyun was injured because of my negligence, which has always made me feel very guilty. I am not taking care of him, I just did something within my ability. Miss Cheng, please sit down, Father Zhang said with a slight smile on his majestic face. You don't have to be so unfamiliar with me. After Chen Ling sat down, he said, my youngest son has chosen a path that I don't quite agree with. It's not that being a star is not good, I raised him as a soldier. He was able to sacrifice his life to save others, which shows that I have not trained him in vain for more than 10 years. At least he is still a brave and responsible person deep down. I am very happy. I think Miss Chang should also understand very well. When you save people, do you hope that they will accept your love? So, Miss Chang, you don't have to mind. It will be good for that silly boy to receive a little beating. Of. Chen Ling hesitated for a moment and said seriously, I once told Zhang Qiun that I will try my best to help him complete anything within my ability that is not illegal and does not violate my personal principles. Father Zhang smiled, Miss Chang, you are a responsible person. I heard my son say that you are motivated to become a good star. I think this goal is very good. Your personal awareness has far exceeded that of most people. I have always believed that everyone has idols. They serve as benchmarks for love and imitation. To put it more advancedly, imitating the behavior of positive idols is itself a kind of positive education. What is the essence of education? Use one soul to guide another soul, use one thought to infect another thought, and use one tree to support another tree. Ms. Chang, the world needs people like you who have upright views, strong abilities, and charisma. I'm glad I met you, and I'm glad my kids are friends with you. Please stride forward, walk straight forward, and mend the world. If you need us to do anything, please keep it to yourself and tell us. We will never refuse if we can do it. Chen Ling never expected that Father Zhang would give him such high recognition. He had heard that Zhang Zhenkuo was opposed to Zhang Qiun's entry into the entertainment industry. Coupled with his status, Chen Ling thought that Zhang Zhenkuo was an old man with a fixed mindset who despised celebrities the most. He said that stars were just actors who were too low-level to be on the stage. Now it seems that I made a mistake in judgment. Zhang Zhenkuo is wiser than imagined, keeps up with the times, and can uncover the surface of things and see the essence. No wonder Ji Chenjiao, who loves freedom and wandering like a cloud, is willing to stay for Zhang Zhenkuo and even get married and have children. But, why would such a strong-minded and thoughtful person send Zhang Qilan to ask about Ji Chenjiao? Chen Ling tried to analyze his micro-expressions. Occasionally, a trace of deep worry flashed across his majestic face. Especially when Chen Ling mentioned his family, the worry between his eyebrows could hardly be hidden. Could it be that something happened to Ji Chenjiao?